very long interview because she worked very hard all these days with Silja Rehfeldt from Berlin. And she's a Dakini and warrior of bliss and a midwife and an expert in orgasmic birth giving and tantric rebirthing. Silja, was it very different to work with Dutch students from the Connection University than with other groups?
No, it wasn't actually any different. No, it's always a challenge. It's always a change, a birth into being, and I think there's always people who can do it easy, and there's always people who have a little harder way to go. I would not say it was any different than anywhere else.
And what makes it some people have a harder way? What are the factors that influence?
Well, it's also about the consciousness and their understanding, and a lot of people just make it hard for themselves. They just reflect it all through their mind. They're only thinking, and they're understanding that they have to do something, but they're actually not willing to go a step farther and just go on free fall, just trust, just surrender, just jump and say, okay, I don't like the day, I don't like the food, I don't like the name of the teacher, I don't care, I want to change something, I'll just go for it, whatever comes up. And some people didn't understand that that's what they have to do.
So actually surrendering is very important to what is given during such a workshop.
Yeah, sometimes it blossoms and unfolds a little later, and it's just go for it and see what it brings to you. And it's never for nothing you do. Yeah. It will always show you something, it will mirror you something will come up.
What is so important for adult people about rebirthing, to have this experience?
Well, I think this is actually the core and the base experience of any tantric education, because this is where we create the so-called comfort zone. And everybody in all the workshop calls talks about the comfort zone all the time. This is where it happens. This is where the creation actually happens. It happens in your brain, and during the time you're in the womb of your mother, or even in the time where you're on your way into your mother, like your arriving soul, and during your early childhood. And you get a lot of imprints where your brain is not aware of at that moment what is good information and what is bad information for you. So you all take it in on your heart plate, and then your body thinks that you need these kind of behaviors or environments to be happy. And whatever you experienced, you will always search for in your life. And it was bad experience which don't serve you, then you will constantly on the run to look for something that gives you this feeling again and again and again, till you finally realize it and break that loop.
And that's where rebirthing is for, to realize if there are traumatic or bad patterns.
Yeah, it's a class where you can really try to change your cellular memory, meaning all the things you have subconsciously taking in, to bring them up through these exercises, and then re-imprint or reset them with positive new imprints that you basically have the whole body reset and can start new. So it is a birth into being, a rebirth in any kind of levels.
What is actually if you would subscribe or tell about the relationship between Tantra and birth giving, how would you philosophize about that?
Well, when I say I work as a Dakini and a midwife, for me it actually doesn't make a difference anymore, because I work with the conscious use of sexual energy, or let's call it Kundalini, let's call it life source energy. It's all sexual energy. It's our core energy, and it's the strongest energy that we have in our body. And every cell of us is made out of sexual energy. I mean, that's what we came for. And this for me, it's one thing. I mean, Tantra is also called the conscious use of sexual energy. So in the delivery, it's just such a nice process we have been given, which has been given to us, and all the things we have to be retaught later on, we already do there. The women are able to combine their spirituality and their sexuality. They're grounded, they go into expansion, They know how to move energy through their body, and also to set free all these hormones which make the so-called tantric orgasm. And they also are able to go in these theta frequency, which we also do during tantric orgasms, to be in that mindless space. So actually it almost looks like the same act sometimes.
And do you teach women to come in that state during delivery?
Yes, actually I don't have to teach them, I just have to reactivate it,
Mm-hmm.
because we all know how that works. Just in this society and the imprints of the matrix and the environment, we completely shut that down. So actually you just have to create a space and actions and teachings, and that can be hypnobirthing, that can be breathing, that is meditation, that is activating and cultivating that energy in your body. These are movement, all these things to be in the element of water, to reactivate actually what we already know. Yeah.
So actually it's remembering.
It's remembering.
Yeah, on a very deep.
For the women in this case, it's remembering. Yes.
Yeah.
Because we come out of this contraction in the inside of the womb actually into the expansion of life, and the kids are naturally ecstatic. They don't think about all these things, they act like they act. They move, they're happy, they're angry, they all do all these things. And then we get to teach to go back into our contraction.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rebirthing and the tantra brings you back into expansion.
Yeah. And that's where
in full presence, and
Yeah.
Finding your path, your passions, and be fully in alignment with what you do and what you're here for.
And how can women support each other to get more expanded, not only during pregnancy or delivery, but in general? What could we do for each other?
Well, I think this is one of the major solutions that we have to look at the moment to create more sisterhood. I think that's what we really, really need. Support each other on our dreams, and worship each other and see the beauty in each of us and what all of us has to give in their unique way, and not be jealous on each other and go into competition and fighting and moaning, bitching and complaining all the time, instead of helping each other to, each of us blossom in our way and serve what we have to serve to the group. And I think also women have a very beautiful way to be with each other, and they should also be a lot more physical. Mm-hmm. And starting, from spreading more oxytocin, being together, dancing together, cooking together, brushing each other's hair, it's just symbols. But really, create a lot of oxytocin, mm-hmm. these lovely environments, mm-hmm. instead of putting rocks in each other's way. Mm-hmm.
But also in this modern urban world, it's very hard for women to have this more, say, tribal or more communal activities. We have no time for it. How can we overcome these problems in our society with this very fast pace?
We have no time for it. Well, we are missing something, and other people are on the search, and we have to start somewhere. And I think the people who realize that, they'll change something, and they will make time for it. And it can be one day a week where you start with it, and as soon as the people get this understanding and this feeling how much that fulfills them and how much smile and laughter that brings into their world, they come back. And it gets more and more and more, and I mean, that can be inviting friends for dinner. There's little things. Go to massage or yoga classes and take your time for yourself and for your sisters.
Where did you meet Tantra in your life?
It's funny. I would say I always had Tantra in my life. I maybe just gave it a name a little later. Mm-hmm. But I think it was always existing and very present, even in my job, working with this all the time. And what my body told me, and the people I was with, and constantly feeling that that's not it, that can't be it, it's just not how it's supposed to be. And then I finally found a man, or he found me, or we found each other, I don't know, who I had this first time, this experience with, that I really felt like home, felt like this is really what satisfies and fulfills and touches my whole being. And of really being seen, really being connected to the core energy, and expanding, going beyond my mind was really.
Was he your lover or just a tantric teacher?
Well, first it was just somebody I met dancing, and the first time I accused him to put something in my drink because I was almost going in satori, and I screamed at him the next morning, and I was crying. I was totally lost because I thought he was doing something to me. So I started the horse from the other end. So I made this experience of being with somebody going into satori, and then I decided, okay, I never felt that complete in my entire life. And then I went, okay, this is what I want every day, every breath, every moment. So that's where I started to come from this way, then search how I can realize this. And then I got in contact with a lot of more of tantric people. He was a tantra teacher, but that wasn't the point where I picked him, because we didn't really talk. It was just
energy.
Yeah.
Fatal attraction.
Magnetism.
All right.
Yeah.
So, how do you see the role of Tantra in society, in modern society, Western society, in the nearest future?
Actually, I think we can survive without it. I mean, if we don't realize these things, everything will change, frequencies change, energies change, and you already see what's happening around here everywhere. And we really need to understand how to work with these energies, prepare our bodies in either ways, through food, through yoga, through conscious life, living, and also use the strongest energy in our body to really be and stay alive and fully connected with the things that happen.
In Tantra, there is a lot of energy work, and for, let's say, us Westerners, we consider energy something where we heat our houses, and solar energy. Or could you explain how energy moves through our bodies? How you can experience that? What means exactly tantric energy?
It's hard to put in work. I mean, it's like the fuel that you would have in your car. It's like your core essence. It feels like everything. My life juice, my mojo, my life source energy, everything that moves as fluid through my body. And I mean, and it's vibrant, and I mean, if I pay a certain attention to it or have a certain way, it stays like this. It constantly vibrates. It's in a movement. It feels like different colors, different temperatures, and it feels complete. And I think in Tantra also you learn, when you say conscious use, you learn how to move it, you learn how to share it with others. It spreads into your environment. I mean, you attract other people, animals, children. You can really feel how that attracts your whole field. And it's hard to describe how it feels, but it's a fluid, vibrant, expanding feeling.
But it sounds to me that Tantra is almost the lost key to paradise.
Yeah, for me it is. For me right now, it's the only key. I mean, you can give it a lot of names, but I think this is the only way how it will work.
Well, in the West we see that we most concentrate on Tantra that is sensual, that deals with massage, touch, relationship issues. But we also have, let's say, more in the Eastern cultures, classical Tantra, that deal with difficult exercises to come, the fastest path to enlightenment, actually. How do you see that, this huge difference between the conceptions of Tantra in the West and the ideas and old traditions in the East?
I think they all have their place and they all work, because I mean, we live in the environments we grow up in, so this is also keys which will work for us. And I mean, there are many ways to roam, as usual, and I think in Tantra is the same. I mean, as soon as you're conscious about these energies and how to work with this, there are different doors you have to pass. And I mean, that can include any kinds of directions that might be a door for you or opens into something what you have been suppressed or which has been blocked. And I think all these aspects come in it, if it's shamanic or if it's BDSM, or is it that you change your complete way of eating or living, or it might be your ancestors, the quantum physics, all of these have part of it. So it all comes in, and just depends on the door, which is the one you need to take. And for the people who grow up on different places of the earth, they grow up with other traditions, others religions, other things. So I think each of us has their place and their way. Would be wonderful if we could mix it and find shortcuts for all of us, because we support each other and serve the best to each other, but depends if that works or not.
Lately I've been busy organizing a conference about sexuality and consciousness. Why do you do that, and what's your inspiration there?
My inspiration is basically like that, what I just said before. It's also like giving birth to another baby. I wanted to create something where I can put these together, what I just said, that I want people to change their way of thinking, to not be scared of all these things to come up, and I wanted to give them the opportunity to have a view on different topics that might help to adjust them to what will come in the future. And I called it a conference because if it would be a festival, it would be too scary for a lot of people to come.
Why is that?
The times are too long, of maybe some workshops, and then they're not sure if this is the right workshop, and then they maybe paid money for it, and maybe they have to do something they don't like or they're afraid of. And if it's a conference and there are short presentations, maybe little safe exercises, then they can have a 3-day experience of getting a view on, for example, in this time 18 different topics, and then they can listen and look, oh, these are normal people, or they can look, hey, that's how I might look when I take care of things. They can be inspired, they can look what resonates, they can maybe go for the door which scares them the most. Whatever appears to you, you can make a step forward to. And I think this setting is a lot less scary for people than making the first big step to go into a festival. And it's also about networking, of course. Each of us have to share experiences, have to share opinions. We're all unique, so we unite them in a conference, and also help to spread the world and maybe change things. And it's also an enormous energy when all these teachers come together and manifest an idea, a vision, a philosophy, and try to move things. This is also brilliant when we can make these things happen.
Is there still room to announce yourself, to be a participant there?
A participant, yes, you can, of course, most welcome to join the conference. There's still room for people to come as a regular participant. It's a 3-day event. You can all check it under Unitedbliss.com. We keep the cost quite low, so it's possible for almost everybody to attend. If there's special needs, you can also address them to the organizers. That will also include yoga in the morning. There will be fire performance, crystal ball performance. There will be ecstatic dance.
That sounds awesome.
Bondage performance, a yoni puya ritual, and this is all included in the price. So it's going to be a big bubble of fun.
And learning.
Bliss.
And you would say, okay, for the future, is it important that Tantra is going to meet Western science, so that we have not only our own accounts, where we talk about Tantra from our own experiences, was very important, but also that we are able to measure things, what it means for people to have tantric orgasms, do meditations. How do you see that? Would that be helpful?
I think that would definitely be helpful. Like I said, we all come from different perspective, and we live in a mindful world, so of course it makes sense to do researches on it and prove things and make it transparent for people through writing, through experiments, and try to somehow put in words and in physical possibilities to make people understand.
Is it important that more and more people will understand Tantra and invite it in their lives? Or is it something really excuse for the people who really like to have something different?
No. I think really Tantra, if you want to keep it very simple and you say sexual energy is the strongest energy in your body, who would not want to use the strongest energy in your body to do whatever you want to do? And if you have a fulfillment in your body, everything solves in your life. You need, you're less dependent on the outside because you're fulfilled with love and happiness for yourself on your inside. So you're less attracted to things you have to buy or a certain way you have to look or to smell or to act, because you set yourself free from this. You definitely need less things to suppress emotions, feelings, or make yourself unattractive or more attractive to the outside. So you will be more conscious about your food, maybe have less food, you need less sleep, you will do more sport. It will change any aspects of your life. You will be more balanced and happy. You're happier with your children. You're happier with your work. Everything goes easy. It feels like you're the first time in love these weeks, where you just fly on your little. That's how it feels.
All the time?
All the time. Should be very inspiring.
Yeah, and also many years. I mean, it doesn't fade
the
out.
The people who really have integrated in their life, and I think you can tell if they really walk the talk, if they really live what they're talking about, you can tell they're a lot younger, they're aging a lot less, they're in very, very good body conditions, they're very calm. It gets more quiet and quiet around them, the mind gets more quiet, and they're just in a very peaceful state of being.
And what's the difference? Because we could also choose to do a meditation course to use that too. What's the difference with Tantra and the other mindful techniques?
Well, meditation, Tantra includes the energy, it includes more aspects actually what you can work with. And also, like I said, on movement, it's more aspects to come to the final, I wouldn't call it solution, but somehow like this. Everything else on its own, I think it doesn't work. They will always come to a point where you have to go one step farther. It's the same. Tantra is life and yoga is life. And one starts with the potential, the other is surrendering at a certain point. The tantric people have to do some yoga because the body needs to be in a perfect shape to work with all this energy. The yogic people need somehow the tantra because they don't know how to actually set the energy free at a certain point and surrender. So it's all going to be one at a certain point. So I don't think one goes without the other.
So actually it's which manner or which way you prefer that suits you best.
Yeah, actually it does.
Is there a certain character type for people that are made to be tantric?
I don't believe in it, no. I think everybody is somehow tantric deep inside.
But still not discovered.
No. But I think everybody has, this core feeling. You want to be love, you want to live love, you want to be in your tribe, you want to be seen, you want to be in your full power, and you want to live your passion and your truth. And I think each of us wants that.
Wonderful. We worked this weekend with a lot of exercises. How, for the students in the school, can they continue, from your point of view, to have this feeling to be born every time they experience a new transformation? How can they continue with that? What would be best exercise for that, or best attitude?
Well, the attitude is always good to think nothing is impossible actually, and for me the key word for everything is expansion. And it's really consciousness, awareness, and expansion, and to really, of these neutral point you hopefully have after being reborn, to really start watching, to go back into your heart and your intuition, and really go for what feels right for me. And don't go for compromises, and don't do what doesn't feel good to you, to not create new layers and not, basically new layers. And it's also about really a healing, about being conscious about it, of course. But really the key word for me is expansion in anything you do.
And the moment when we expand, what will it do to our surrounding, to the world?
Well, it will change a lot. I mean, you might step on somebody's feet, you might get reactions you haven't been thought about, but I think at the end it all comes out best, because if you stand in your own power and your integrity, people will honor that, and things around change, and people will maybe pick up on it and do the same. I mean, you attract what you reflect on, the same thing. And maybe also a good key for students to really see the potential in the people which are running around you. To really see that they're mirroring you. And don't, really, whoever you meet a person that always makes you angry. Don't be angry at this person. Think about why this person makes me angry all the time, and where does this come from? To really use the world as your mirror, and you don't need a therapy or a workshop. Actually, it's constantly there. Everybody mirrors your children, what happens around you. You have a constant teaching, if you want to, which you get served for free every day, every minute.
So Tantra is actually the school of experience.
Yes. Like I said, wisdom comes with experience.
Yeah. Why is it that in the tantric scene and world and domain in the West, there are so many people who, I would say, are not aware of that and are not supportive towards each other and do it in a very different way? It seems that we attract also a bunch of people who, have very different intentions here.
Well, it's also still the matrix, so you can make a lot of money, you can live highly manipulating people with guru behavior, and these are people who just haven't taken care of their ego yet, of course, and just pretend they're at a point which they're definitely not.
And how do you know that you really found a sincere and wise Tantra teacher?
Yeah, for me it really goes about feeling it. If I'm around that person and I feel he fully, with all his love and all his intention, walks his talks, that's what I'm saying, that I really see he lives what he teaches and what he tells people into his pour. That doesn't need to be 100%, and that doesn't need to be always my way, but each of them has my respect as soon as I can see the people really live what they tell others.
Is there still a man in your life which you love, a tantric man?
There is a new tantric man in my life.
Oh really? Yeah. And what is so tantric about your relationship with him?
What is so tantric about it? Oh, now we're going into the interesting details. Well, for me, a tantric, any relationship I want to have at the moment, tantric or non-tantric, is a conscious relationship. I don't want these usual behaviors anymore. I want to go deep with a person. And I don't want to hang up on things that my surroundings set up. I want to choose with this person how I want us to look like. And that can be any way. And I want to heal. And I want a person to heal with, because that person mirrors me. And that person is really able to let me be me, see me, with all my aspects, my dark sides, my lights, and let me expand and help me to find my truth and find his own truth and overcome jealousy and other things we put up to make our lives miserable. And it's also about a true sexual connection. It doesn't have any value for me to have friction-based sex. It's like, it doesn't feed me, it doesn't fulfill me. I want also somebody I can really dive deep with and who I can really truly have a lovely connection with.
Yeah.
So
Really sincere.
yeah, really sincere and really true and honest and transparent. And in all aspects, on all levels.
Because if people think, let's say in general, about tantric sex, they think of some magic sexual actions, but it's actually very grounded,
It's very
normal,
grounded
very
sex. It's the core of the connection of two human beings and two energies.
Yeah. So we started a school, we started an academy in Tantra, actually Tantric University. I mean, Tantra has been for a very long time underground stuff. Yeah, it was not very much in the open, also not in the West, also not in the East. What do you think? What will be the future of such a school? I mean, it's quite brave what we did to put that school in the middle of a Western country and
well, I believe it's quite brave, but it seems like there's still no other way to get certain people's attention. We still need to provide some kind of frame, some kind of rules, some kind of safety to allow ourselves or others to accept the things which is happening. So it's not like it wasn't happening, but all of a sudden to bring it out of the darkness into the light and into the consciousness of people, and maybe get also some more mindful people realizing that this is the way they could also go because we catch them out of a different corner. It's an amazing idea.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have more questions for me then?
No, I'm just very happy to support that thought, and for me it's very important. The sisterhood, the brave women who stand up for these things, and we have to fight a lot of fears, and we have to stand up for these things, and we really have to be true and really trust and surrender in what we think or follow our path.
And that's already a big task now to fulfill that. I thank you very much, and I thank you that you was here and that you shared such a beautiful knowledge and wisdom with us. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
You're welcome.